Good evening. Today we're going to talk about Mary Roach's book Stiff. It journeys into the world of cadavers, their past, and how they can help us today. Mary Roach likes to write like a history textbook. First, she looks at the main points and the characters, then she dives into a particular event. Cadaver UM006 was introduced like this in chapter 4 of her book. Mary Roach shares the obvious. Dead people can't do anything. They don't excel at anything, nor do they have talents. But one thing they do have is their invulnerability to pain. She first explains where this cadaver's from, which is Detroit, Michigan. Then she explains how this experiment is gonna take place. The chapters go deep into this bizarre world that include cadavers being body snatched, reenacted for religion, or even eaten for medicinal purposes. Some were even stolen from their graves by unpleasant workers called resurrectionists. Though they risked their lives for this dangerous work, they were paid a fair price. In the introduction, Mary Roach goes into an anatomy lab to see how a cadaver is cut open, and even how to emotionally prepare yourself for this task. She meets one of the attendants, a lady named Teresa. Roach then asks how she copes with dealing with the heads. Teresa explains how she uses objectification, looking at the cadavers like they're just wax. This technique helps Teresa to cope with her emotions. Using ideas from different sources helped author Mary Roach to know more about cadavers. I was intrigued by the names of the sources she used, so I looked into one of them. One of her sources for Chapter 8, How to Know If You're Dead, was Buried Alive by W. Norton and Company. It explains humans' biggest fear. In the book, a character named Saul explains obsessive fears and phobias. So who would be interested in this crazy book? People who want to work in the medical field like nurses and doctors, or even people who want to work at a funeral like morticians and pallbearers, or even surgeons who want to fix bodily problems, would all think very highly of this book. The idea of using dead bodies for practice is very frowned upon and controversial. Mary Roach's approach to this book is to change people's mind and teach them that cadavers will actually help people. Mary Roach wants her audience to know that these people are not monsters. They're scientists who wants to make use of dead people when some of them didn't do anything to make society better while they were alive. Some of the students who worked on cadavers even named them. One of the gross lab students even named his cadaver Ben. When he holds Ben the cadaver, he does it with care and respect for its limbs. He respects his lab partner and treats him as if he was just in a deep sleep. That was an example of Mary Roach using pathos in her writing. Her use of logos shines when she asks professional of death due to plane crash Dennis Shanahan how she could be able to survive a low altitude flight. She explains her ethics when she says she doesn't teach anatomy, she just knows the impulse of it. As a child of a nurse, I think it would be extremely helpful to put dead people into use. This book was honestly fun to read and learn about the bizarre and silly world of cadavers. I will remember reading about the still alive brain-dead cadaver and the bodies of dead children from China who were shipped to the USA for further examining. I also cringed at the mention of enlarged genitalia due to the injection of embalming fluid to the cadaver's veins. I would keep this book in the reading list because it introduces a very weird and controversial topic in a very informative manner. My note to self is to consider donating my body to science because it can save someone's life after my death. This ties into American literature because it lacks a lot of emotion to this very sensitive topic, which relates to the Puritan style of writing. Thank you so much for watching this TED Talk.